Hello friends, have you ever been lost? Have you ever got lost? It's not a very nice feeling being lost. I don't like it at all. I used to live in a city called Liverpool and I used to get lost there all of the time. It's a very big city and lots of the streets look the same. And when I was walking home, I always seemed to get lost, always walk down the wrong street, go in the wrong direction and get completely lost. I even once got on the wrong bus. I went to a completely different city and I didn't know where I was or how to get home. And I had to ask someone for help. It can be a little bit scary getting lost. It can be a bit overwhelming not knowing which way to go or where your friends or family are. I really don't like it very much at all. In the Bible, there was a man called Zacchaeus and he was also lost. And he was lost not because he had gone down the wrong street or gone in the wrong direction or got on the wrong bus. No, Zacchaeus was lost because he was not a friend of God. In the Bible, being lost means that you're separate from God, that you're not part of God's family, that you're not God's friend, that you don't know how to love God or listen to God or follow God as you should. And this is because of sin. Sin separates us from God, and it means that we are lost. And everyone is born lost. Everyone is born with sin, and there's nothing we can do to fix it or get rid of it. And Zacchaeus was lost, and his life showed that he was lost, that he was not a friend of God, that he did not belong to God's family. You see, even though he was rich, even though he had lots of money, Zacchaeus stole money from others. He lied, he cheated, he didn't tell the truth, he wasn't honest, and he took what wasn't his. And because of this, people didn't want to be his friend. They stayed away from him, and they didn't like him very much at all. Now one day, Jesus came to Jericho, the town where Zacchaeus lived. And lots of people had heard amazing things about Jesus and wanted to see Jesus for themselves. And Zacchaeus wanted to see Jesus too. But by the time he got to where Jesus was, a massive crowd had formed around Jesus. There were lots of people wanting to see Jesus. And because Zacchaeus was short, he couldn't see Jesus. So he decided that he would climb a sycamore tree to get a better view so that he could see who Jesus was. As Jesus was walking, he was about to walk past the sycamore tree, but he looked up at Zacchaeus and said, "Hurry down, Zacchaeus, I'm coming to your house to stay today." And Zacchaeus was so excited and super happy that Jesus wanted to come to his house. But others in the crowd were not happy. The crowd was not happy and they were grumbling. They said, "Does Jesus not know who Zacchaeus is? Zacchaeus is a sinner. He lies, he cheats, he steals. He is not a good man. Why does Jesus want to spend time with him? Why does Jesus want to go to his house? Why does Jesus want to be his friend?" And Zacchaeus said to Jesus, "Lord, I want to give away half of what I own to the poor. I want to repay people 4 times what I've taken from them when I've stolen money from them." And Jesus said to Zacchaeus, "Today salvation has come, for I have come to seek, to look for, and save the lost." You see, Jesus already knew that Zacchaeus was lost. Jesus already knew that Zacchaeus was a sinner, that he was not God's friend. And Jesus said that he'd come to look for people exactly like him, to look for them and to save them. And did you know that we are a lot like Zacchaeus? We are lost and we need saving. We need help. Our lives can show that we're not part of God's family. We can treat people not very well. You may not have stolen money, but you probably have lied, probably not told the truth. There are things in our lives that we do wrong, things in our lives that we say wrong, and things that we even think wrong. But Jesus knows all about who we are on the inside and what we do wrong. And yet he still wants to be our friend. You see, Jesus came into this world to save people like you and me, people who are lost. He came to love and to die on the cross for those who are lost, to take the punishment that we deserve and for our sin, for all the things that we do wrong, say wrong and think wrong, so that we can be friends with God, so that we are no longer lost, but we are part of God's family. You see, Jesus knew everything about Zacchaeus and he wanted to be his friend. and he came to look for him and save him. And Jesus wants to be our friend, and he comes to look for us and save us too. So some questions to think about for us this week. Are you a friend of God? If not, do you know that you are lost? The Bible calls you lost. You do not know God, you're separate from God, and that is a very serious thing. If you are a friend of God, has your life changed because you've met Jesus? You see, Zacchaeus' life completely changed as soon as he met Jesus. He knew that he had done wrong things. And instead of lying and cheating and stealing, he changed his life because of Jesus. Instead of lying, he wanted to give back and repay. Instead of stealing, he wanted to give money back to people he had stolen from. His life was completely changed when he'd met Jesus. What about you? What does your life show? Does your life show that you are part of God's family, that you're a friend of God? Or does it show that you do not know God?